In pandemic COVID-19 outbreak, effective mechanism of administration is witnessed by this India in order to control this pandemic. This is one of the phase of beginning where we will discuss yesteryear memories in the aspect of Mughal administration. The Mughal Empire, the well organized empire, one empire which has all the center powers and visible center is just the court where all central powers lies in the hands of emperor Badshah rule, and this shows the place of importance in his life where center position was tucked and a number of coteries have been done. Anyone who wished to meet him, the most popular form, and this is one of the aspects, and the reforms have been introduced with other things as well. So there is central administration, there is provisional administration. The central administration consists of the officials which assist the emperor at the center. Wazir, Mir Bakshi, Diwane Aziz, Qazi, etc. was part of it. In order to share all what they perform is will be depicted with the help of a PowerPoint presentation and smart class version. Mughal Empire was well organized in the aspect of provisional administration where they have the subas and that controlled by the powers of governor and ultimately report to the king, which is center hub. The position of courtyard depicts the importance in the eyes of emperors, and the permission is required to leave or to enter in the court. So let's have what exactly Mughal administration means.
Mughal administration. The splendor and stability of the Mughal rule was due to a succession of very capable rulers who attempted to build up an efficient administrative system. In this module, you will learn about the administrative setup of the Mughal Empire. The Mughal administrative system was based on a centralized dictatorship system. All powers were vested in the emperor, also known as the Badshah or monarch. He was regarded as God's shadow on earth. The emperor was assisted by a council of ministers. The prime minister or Wazir was the most important one amongst them. The Mughal Empire was divided into a number of small provinces called as subas. Each suba was ruled by a subedar or governor. During Akbar's reign, there were 15 such subas. The subas were further divided into sarkars, and these sarkars were further divided into paraganas and mahals. The village was at the lowest level of administration. Land revenue was the main source of income for the state. Raja Todarmal, who had worked with Sher Shah earlier, was appointed as the revenue minister of Akbar's court. Akbar made improvisations to the land revenue system introduced by Sher Shah. Hence, Sher Shah is often known as the forerunner of Akbar. Later, the Zabti system was introduced, under which all the land was measured by a uniform system of measurement. Based on the fertility of the land and the yield of the crops, all land was divided into several categories. The land tax was fixed to 1/3 of the average yield and was payable either in cash or in kind. During floods and famines, peasants were given tax remissions. The revenue officers were instructed to be kind to the peasants. The Mughal army had different components such as infantry, artillery, cavalry and elephantry, with cavalry being the most important branch. Akbar introduced the Mansabdari system. Mansab meant rank or place. Each Mansab was valued based on the number of horsemen they had. The Mansabdars were graded in the range of 10 to 10,000 Mansabs. The Mansabs had to maintain foot soldiers in addition to horses. The Mansabdars had to assist the emperor during war times. In return for their services, they were paid fixed salaries. The king was at the apex of the judicial system. He was assisted by the chief Qazi. The cases were tried in accordance with the law prescribed in the Quran. Severe punishments were meted out for major crimes, mutilation being one of them. Let us now recap all the important points that we have covered in this module on Mughal administration.
Mughal foreign policy, which plays the dominant role because they have border securities as their major concern. They have been the issues for the Mughal ruler remained the settlement of border security in the northwest frontier of Mughal Empire. Ottoman Turks plays a vital role here. They were the powerful empire in West Asia around that time. The Turkish Sultan claimed to be the successor of Caliph, and the Mughals did not want to challenge the superior position of Ottomans and avoid any closer interaction with them. But the Mughal Empire have Mughal Emperor with a safe and free movement for their merchants, and pilgrims' territories are also being under the Ottoman control. So ultimately it marks the presence of pilgrim places like Makkah, Medina were located there. So merchandise trade and religion is combined over here by exporting valuable merchandise to the Aden and Mocha, but Red Sea port, and distributing some parts of sales in charity to keepers of shrine there. Everything being addressed to foreign policies. The centralized control of Mughal Empire. The reforms of Akbar, which was taken by the foundation from Sher Shah Suri, was improvised. Any Akbari gives the classification of land reforms, revenue collection, irrigation and agricultural prosperity is just due to the reforms introduced under the Mughal administration. It's not only this, Akbar have introduced Massamdari system as well. In the last recapitulation point, we can consider the Mughal foreign policy was designed to tackle the three great dynasties in Iran, Central Asia and Ottoman Turkey region, whose rise coincides with the rise of the Mughal Empire in India. Revenue system under Mughals were known as Japti system. There were two stages involved in revenue administration, the first assessment and then actual calculation with collection. Reforms had been introduced with the proper mechanism, and Indian medieval history witnessed a transition which has a foundation of Sher Shah Suri, and the improvised version was introduced by Akbar.